Good afternoon and welcome to News 9. I'm Nolan Pinto. Now, the BMTC will find it hard to shed the killer tag with yet another accident taking place in less than 3 days. Now, this time the bus rammed into a bike at Chalukya Circle near the CID office. The biker, identified as Mubarak, succumbed to his injuries at Malige Hospital, while the pillion rider, identified as Shahrukh, his condition is said to be critical. Well, this is the second such incident that has come to light in the past 3 days. The 34-year-old woman was killed and two others, including a college student, injured when a speeding BMTC bus knocked them down at the Sudda Gunte Palya bus stop on Friday morning. In fact, the BMTC will now find it hard to shed the killer tag with yet another accident taking place in less than 3 days. This time the bus rammed into a bike at Chalukya Circle near CID office. The biker, identified as Mubarak, succumbed to his injuries at Malige Hospital, while the pillion rider, identified as Shahrukh, his condition is said to be critical. Well, in fact, this is the second such incident that has come to light in the past 3 days. A 34-year-old woman was killed and two others, including a college student, injured when a speeding BMTC bus knocked them at a bus stop on Friday morning. Now, the bus driver stated that he lost control when the brakes did not work and went and rammed into them. And we must remember that they were standing on the footpath. Well, for more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Akshita. Akshita, last time around, the BMTC bus driver stated that he lost control because the brakes did not work. This time, what is the excuse?
Well, no word on what exactly took place as such, Nolan, but of course what we do understand as of now is that this particular incident took place near Chalukya Circle, which is of course very close to that CID office. The bus rammed into the bike from behind is what we understand now. Because of that, the driver, Mubarak, suffered very grievous injuries. He was rushed to the hospital but passed away while he was being treated. And now the pillion rider, Shahrukh, is said to be in a critical condition and at this point is being treated, but no word on whether he will make it or not. He is said to be in a very critical condition, Nolan. And of course, as you rightly mentioned, this is the second such incident coming to light in the last 3 days. On Friday, we had seen a 34-year-old woman being killed by a BMTC bus in Indranagar. So it looks like these incidents are on the rise. The BMTC will have to seriously think this through, Nolan, because at this point, even in the case of the Indranagar incident, a lot of eyewitnesses went on to say that the driver, Kumar, was driving rather fast and it could have been his fault. So, of course, there are a lot of questions coming in with regards to the safety of BMTC buses. Remember, at one point, they had the tag of a killer BMTC and somehow they managed to shed that by almost going through an image makeover, by even changing the color of their buses. It took that much of an effort to change and shed that tag, but it looks like it's coming back now, Nolan, considering that this is the second such incident, the second such death as well. Even in the previous incident, we saw a 34-year-old woman being killed, two others being injured. Here, one person being killed and another person being injured. So it's definitely not going to be something that Bengalurians will not take note of, Nolan. They are going to be very, very angry with these incidents, which is only highlighting the fact that maybe BMTC buses are once again going back to becoming rather unsafe on the roads. Maybe the drivers are the ones to be faulted for this particular accidents taking place. We have, of course, several people, of course, have complained in the past about how rash these particular drivers are. And once again, it seems like they're almost highlighting that with these two incidents coming to light, Nolan.
Now, Akshita, what are eyewitnesses telling us? How exactly did this accident take place? Did the bus come and ram into them or did they slow down? What are we getting?
Well, as of now, Nolan, what we do understand is that the bus rammed into the bike from behind, and that's when the incident took place. We are, of course, awaiting more information on the exact sequence of events. We are talking to the eyewitnesses there to find out how exactly it took place. But as you can see on your screens, it was a Pulsar. Two people were on that particular bike when this particular bus rammed into them. And, of course, considering that they were on a bike, even besides the fact that Mubarak was wearing a helmet, it did not save him. Considering the impact of that particular accident, Nolan, it looks like a Mubarak breathed his last even while he was being treated. He suffered grievous injuries is what we understand, and even the pillion rider in this particular case, Shahrukh, is also said to be in a critical condition as of now. So you can imagine the impact of this particular accident. And going by what we're hearing, going by the fact that two of them, one of them being killed, the other said to be critical, there is no doubt that the bus rammed into them with full force. So it looks like maybe the bus was traveling at a high speed, Nolan. This was exactly the case even on Friday's incident. The eyewitnesses did go on to state that the driver was driving rather fast. How else, in fact, could he have managed to get onto that footpath, which was a couple of feet high? So, of course, it looks like, besides everything, be it brake failure, be it anything else, at the end of the day,
right,
it has come to light that these drivers also were careless on their part.
Right, Akshat, I'm going to place you on hold there for a moment. Now, this is the second such incident that has come to light in the past 3 days. Now, what you see on the center of your television screen is what happened on Friday morning. Now, over there, a 34-year-old woman was killed and two others, including a college student, injured when a speeding BMTC bus knocked them at the bus stop. Now, mind you, they were actually standing on the footpath. They were not on the road. Now, we are told that the driver lost control. He stated that the brakes did not work. He went on top of the footpath, rammed into the lady, and hit the other two people who were waiting to board the bus, and then into the street light. And finally stopping just after ramming into the signal lights over there. Now, this is the second such incident. Now, for some time, the BMTC management was trying to get rid of the killer tag that the BMTC had come to get, but it looks like once more the tag is slowly inching close to the BMTC. In fact, Akshita, coming back to you, the BMTC did manage to stop all these accidents that they kept on having for some time. That sort of BMTC killer tag was actually going away, but now it looks like it's coming back.
Exactly, Noel. And also, of course, Friday when that incident took place, we also spoke to the BMTC MD, Mr. Anjum Parvez, who went on to tell us that based on the kind of analysis that they had done based on a study and the survey they had done, they'd realized that BMTC buses were the cause of accidents in about 85 to 90 cases in a year. Now, that's not a small number to say in the least. Mr. Parvez also went on to highlight that, in the last many months and years, they have taken several steps to ensure that this number comes down. They have given special training to the drivers, ensure that there are safety mechanisms present in these particular buses. But it looks like all of that did help in controlling the number of accidents in the recent past. We did not see so many incidents of BMTC buses causing accidents as such. But with these two incidents taking place within a period of 3 days, it's definitely once again raising eyebrows across the city as to whether BMTC bus drivers seem to be once again taking it for granted that they can get away with anything they want and are driving a bit too rashly, be it brake failure, be it any other technical issue with the bus, that once again points fingers at the BMTC, Nolan, for a lack of proper servicing. So it looks like they need to rethink the entire system at this point and ensure that everything is in perfect mint condition, and not just with regards to the bus, but also with regards to the driver's training to ensure that such incidents do not take place, because we're not looking at just accidents, we're looking at deaths here, Nolan. A 34-year-old woman passing away there, her children orphaned because of a BMTC bus, be it the driver's rashness or the fact that it was a brake failure. At the end of the day, it is the BMTC's fault. They are the ones who caused that particular death. And come today, and we're seeing absolutely nothing different. Yet another biker this time around being killed, Mubarak, and we understand that he was the sole breadwinner of his particular family. And besides that, it could even lead to 2 deaths, considering that the other man, the pillion rider Shahrukh, is also in a very critical condition. The doctors are trying to save him, but there's no word on whether he will make it or not. So BMTC has definitely got blood on its hands at this point, and they will have to do something very, very crucial at this point to ensure that these incidents don't once again become synonymous with their tag of killer BMTC, that tag doesn't resurface once again, Nolan.
Now, drivers training, that's very important. Defensive driving is what they need to be taught. But what about driver fatigue, Akshita? Because this is the regular complaint from most of the BMTC drivers that they are overworked every day.
That's right, Nolan. That's another point that definitely needs to be taken into account. So in all, the BMTC will definitely have some serious rethinking to do. It's not enough if they go ahead and blame the driver, saying that they are the ones who are driving rashly, they are the ones who should be held responsible. At the end of the day, the drivers are representing the BMTC, and to a great extent, it does reflect badly on the BMTC, considering that it seems almost that they don't seem to care about the safety of people on the roads, that they let it go, they let it loose, and that as long as the buses are plying, nothing else matters. And now, to a great extent, yes, we have to give it to them for taking so many measures to ensure that such incidents do not keep taking place. But it looks like, once again, they will have to ensure that these measures are taken up on a strict basis to ensure that no lives are lost because of the BMTC, Nolan.
Now, they've also come out with bizarre excuses such as brake failure in the earlier case. Now, we see them giving all these sort of excuses. What's it this time around?
Well, as of now, we do not know exactly what the driver is stating, but what we have to keep in mind, Nolan, is that on the Friday incident, that time around as well, the RTO officials were called in to conduct an investigation. It was only the driver, Kumar, who had gone on to state that it was a brake failure. There's no confirmation in that regard, so we cannot rule it as a brake failure as such. It could have been the driver's fault at the end of the day. So while, yes, these drivers seem to be, to a great extent, protecting themselves, this time around, we do not have any word on the driver. In all likelihood, he has been taken into custody, Nolan, but no word on exactly what he is saying at this point, or whether in fact he's saying that it was some technical fault with the bus, whether he's saying that it was the biker's fault, or in fact if he's actually confessed to actually driving rashly and stating that it was his fault.
Right, Akshita, thank you very much for all those details. In fact, another accident has claimed the lives of one individual and seriously injured another, and this time again, in a matter of just 3 days' time, a BMTC bus has been involved. On Friday morning, a BMTC bus came onto the footpath, rammed into a lady who died on the spot, and 2 other people, including a student. Today, the BMTC bus again rammed into a bike. We're told that the bike rider died, while the pillion rider suffered grievous injuries.